Wake up, NWA. It's time for your morning kiss. It's Dominic Blake on Kiss 105.3 and 1340.
I couldn't live without you.
Where hip-hop and R&B lives.
We are back. Thank you guys for tuning into Morning Kiss. We're going to jump into the hot topics of this week. So, Trump has officially made ridiculous news again in America, guys. According to TMZ, Trump has become the first commander-in-chief to be impeached twice. And what happens next, nobody can decide. But honestly, if this happens, he's never going to be able to run again for office. The U.S. House of Representatives voted on the article of impeachment that was introduced earlier this week. The article is actually incitement of insurrection. So that would be the grounds under which they would be able to impeach him. The motion was passed with a majority, which included a couple of Republicans. So Sosa, this is crazy, but not really crazy, because hopefully they can impeach him. This is crazy.
Yeah, I see what they're doing, man. And again, I think, if he is impeached fully, that takes away like the pension, the Secret Service, and obviously won't be able to run again. And I think that's kind of what they're probably going after.
They're going for the jugular, and I don't blame them. At this point, his own teammates are tired of him, and after the riot on Capitol Hill and all the other foolishness we've had to sit by and kind of watch with our popcorn, rightfully so. So, do you think he'll be impeached this second go round? Erica, what do you think? Do you think they're going to get him?
I have no comment on this situation. It's just, come on now.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous.
I mean, what's the point? We're a few days away from Biden taking office. I guess it's the principle of the matter.
Yeah, we want him to not be able to
Where's the benefit associated with this?
The perks. So if they do,
like the Secret Service for the rest of his pension, life, et cetera.
Oh yeah. So what do you think? Think it's gonna happen?
I mean, it looks like it's trending that way. I mean, we'll see.
Okay, so my second question is, if he does, what exactly? You mentioned the pension, you mentioned the Secret Service. What exactly does he stand to lose if we do impeach him?
Well, like I said, it eliminates that whole "I'm going to run next time."
Right.
That's off the table. You'll never see Trump again in office.
Ever.
That'll be a done deal.
Okay.
And he is losing quite a bit. Recently I've become a pretty big golf fan.
Yeah.
And even the PGA has X'd out him hosting their events. They've pulled away from Trump and his properties, and they're taking those events somewhere else. So he's really starting to lose quite a bit.
The fan base is decreasing.
Yeah.
So what will it mean to Americans and the rest of the world if we don't impeach him? Like, what kind of message are we sending? And, do you get to have your cake and eat it too after you've, incited this riot and caused all this havoc?
Listen, me personally, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the guy. I'm also not necessarily a Trump hater. Right. I do hate the way he's handled things.
Correct.
Just me personally.
Yeah.
But when you start again censoring and doing things like that, it's a bit of a slippery slope for me.
Right.
So I am very conscious of that, and I'm worried about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to turn a blind eye at this point. I'm really able to separate the person from their work. Like, there are a lot of people in society that we've, kind of ridiculed or criticized. And, for example, like Bill Cosby, I'm able to look at all the good he's done for society, what he's meant, what he's stood for, and what he meant to a lot of people based on his work. Now, what he did behind closed doors, I absolutely disagree with, and I'm disgusted with. However, I cannot absolutely just, turn a blind eye to what he's done for the industry and how many people he's helped. So I get it. I totally get it. So
that's what the public likes about Trump. I think that they like the ignorance associated with.
We like ratchet stuff, Erica. Why is that? So
well, he says what other people think, and now that's why there was such, a show made on Capitol Hill, because they felt like they had the permission to do so from our leader.
Moral of the story is
you're welcome,
act
guys.
Out. Yeah, you can't act out your every thought. And I think that, that is prime example. Just because you think it doesn't mean you should say it or act on it.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Correct.
So be tasteful.
All right. Well, fun facts. Trump is banned. You mentioned they stopped using his properties for a lot of events, namely golf. So let me tell you a couple things that Trump is banned from. Trump is banned from
Everything.
Facebook. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and get this, the last one, Google. Like, yikes. You know you're living
banned
wrong.
from Google?
How do you get banned from Google?
Can you even post anything on there?
I mean, Google is life, though. Like, we go to Google and search for the most random things. Address, like an address, how to spell something. You know, how many times do you think about how many times you use Google in a day?
I looked up some stuff associated with his business, and you know, they were already kind of failing or flunking. Everyone thinks Trump is this huge, successful, just entrepreneur. Correct, exactly. Well, you know, people want to believe what they want to, but he actually inherited his fortune from his father, and he was a millionaire before he was even 18. He
got a small $1 million loan.
He's filed bankruptcy quite a bit. None of his businesses have really been successful. They've kind of all flunked. But I believe his Mar-a-Lago property and then one other one, the only reason that they've stayed afloat or he's continued to generate revenue is because all of the political soirees were being held there, you know. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen to him as a whole or an individual or his empire within itself after this.
Well, you know what? He has a number of children that have done quite well for themselves and hopefully
also inherited.
But you know, somebody will throw him a lifeboat. Just, you know, that's what they do.
Maybe.
He's put a lot of people that didn't deserve to have positions in government in the position that they've gotten when he was in there. So, you know, it's really crazy. This is the most insane reality show I think we've all witnessed. Like nobody even really watches regular reality
This
TV.
Isn't even scripted. That's the worst part.
Yeah. So, you know, so anyway, he's banned from Google. So, you know, you're living wrong if you're being banned from Google. Mm-hmm. And let me just add, a lot of trumpet terrorists that stormed the Capitol Hill are now on the ban list, the ban fly list, and are getting arrested by FBI and are in jail. They're losing their minds because they're not able to exercise the typical privilege that they've always had or used to. So this is absolutely a wild time, and it's very interesting to watch. But the
local gentleman that was set to be
the one from Arkansas?
on the desk. He's facing up to 10 years in a federal facility. So
now let's see if he'll actually do the time. Yeah, you know. So
they're pressing for it. I've read a little bit about it this morning.
All right, moving along, guys. Sex and the City is back, according to LoveBeScott.com. Sarah Jessica Parker, who plays Carrie on the show, and she's also the executive producer on Sex and the City, stated that Kim Cattrall, who plays Samantha, won't be replaced in the upcoming Sex and the City reboot. Kim Cattrall, you know, she can't and won't be replaced, in my humble opinion. For those of you who are Sex and the City fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about and why I say that.
Yeah.
Look, you know, this is a monumental show that, in my opinion, is woven into the fabric of many of our lives. Just growing up and even as adults. Like, Sosa, do you remember Sex and the City?
I mean, it ran parallel to The Sopranos for a long time.
Yes.
So I'm familiar with it.
Binged that when the pandemic started. We watched every episode, and the ending to it sucked. We didn't understand it.
I still have a hang up about that.
Yeah.
There's a whole conversation we could have there.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like there are chat rooms like just based on that, and people really ranting.
What's next? They were at the diner, and then what?
So, you know, Sex and the City is a classic that we'll always love, just like The Sopranos. And quite frankly, I don't think there's any other character that could do Kim Cattrall's role any justice. I don't think they can bring anybody along to fill her shoes. You know, Samantha was just unique and special in that role, and she played that character. I think honestly, she created what it was. So there's nobody that can come in and do that. So she was unique in what she did. And let me add that there'll be 10 episodes to this new reboot of the show. And all three ladies are getting $1 million, $1 million each per episode. So ka-ching. Hello, nice. $10 million. So even though I don't think they'll be doing it for the money at this point in their careers, it's about the legacy of what Sex and the City means to the viewers and our society, really. I don't care how old they get. Even if they were 70, I'm going to tune in.
Right. But, you know, Sarah Jessica Parker really took her role and ran with it. She, I think, embraced that personality.
Yeah,
she started a shoe line. Exactly. And, you know, she was obsessed with shoes in the show. So it's unique to see if that's really who they are, or are they capitalizing on business with that image?
Guys, are we watching, even though Kim Cattrall, known as the raunchy, spicy one, isn't a part of the cast? Will you still be tuning in to see what they'll bring to the table?
Oh, I missed that. She's not a part of the cast.
She's not. Like, I heard, like, allegedly, her and Samantha, or I'm sorry, her and Sarah Jessica Parker has some beef.
Yeah, that's a throwback.
You know?
I'm not sure that will change the dynamic. It's like the new Selena series that's on Netflix. It's not the same as J-Lo when she played in the movie. You know? I can't watch it.
But will you tune in?
I'll check it out.
Of course you will. Sosa, I think you're going to tune in. You don't have to admit on air, but I think you will. That's all right. That's all right.
Hey, that's just a quick side note. Coming up March the 12th, I believe it is. A prequel to The Sopranos is being released.
Ooh.
So I will be watching that.
Okay, all right.
What's that going to entail with Tony?
It's supposed to be Tony as a kid, and the main character is going to be Tony's dad and Uncle June.
I'm tuning in.
Kind of like how they're bringing Kanan back, like for his childhood on Gotcha.
Are you tuning in to Ghost? Have you been watching?
You watch that?
I hadn't watched the new stuff.
It's amazing.
It's good.
It's amazing.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Mary J did a good job on
this
there.
story and Method Man. Method Man has taken his his acting skills to a whole another level.
I think Meth is cold. No doubt.
I think so too. And for a 50-year-old, his body is banging.
Well,
okay,
whatever you say.
When does he show that?
Listen, he does. Like, you know, for those of you who are tuning into Power, you know, tell me what you think. Drop it in the comments and let us know. So, how do you think? How did Sex and the City cultivate your views on relationships and sex? Because I know for me, you know,
grew up watching that
as a preteen, teen growing up, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm that character. It's kind of like the Spice Girls back in the day. Everybody kind of identified with, you know, a different character. I don't know if you were Carrie, Samantha.
I was all of them.
Or the redhead.
I wasn't Samantha as a preteen, you know, but maybe when I got a little older.
And, you know, I grew up in New York. So for me, it cultivated my views and gave women this independent idea of, you know, what we could be or, you know, what it should be. You know, I think that maybe women that grew up in the 50s or 40s didn't really see themselves as sexual beings or it
was suppressed, I think.
Right, it was very suppressed.
Like taboo to be spoken about.
Yeah, so when watching that show, Sosa, you know, please, I want to know your opinion as a man. Like, did you see women in a different way, just kind of putting their stuff on Front Street the way men have been for years?
Well, you know, so forgive me here, okay? I'm going to kind of just kind of swerve around this just a bit.
Yep.
But didn't like the Golden Girls do that back in the day?
You're right. But just like the good old hits of R&B, they talked about things without talking about it, and it could kind of fly over
like
your head.
Like super suggestive.
Yeah, but you know, on HBO, they were getting it in.
Different. It's a little bit more direct. You're right.
They had that. They had the late night HBO specials. Now I think Sex and the City played like right before those came on.
Yeah.
So if you were still awake. You know.
Shout out to Taxi Cab Confessions.
Yeah, Taxi Cab Confessions.
None of you will know what that is, but if you know, you know, okay? So, you know, people are interested apparently in seeing women 50 plus having or discussing their sexual relationships.
My grandmother is on that train. She reads her book, her dirty book.
She reading 50 Shades of Grey?
She would. That would be a good read for her.
Shout out to your
grandma. I should mail that to her.
Shout out to your grandma.
I'm on it.
Like, are you interested in seeing 50-year-olds talking about or having sex on TV?
50's young, guys.
I mean, you're asking me?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, you might have been into the MILFs at one point. I don't know.
Hey, man, I got a strong appreciation for MILFs. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, guys, our WTAF story of the day and our last hot topic: rapper Azelia Banks digs up and cooks a dead cat. What?
Well, wait.
WTAF. So according to lovebscott.com, now listen, now to be 100% clear, it doesn't seem like Banks actually ate the cat's remains, but instead she cooked the cat as a ritual before moving out of her apartment, and just kept the skull for something. I have no idea what's happening here. Listen, mental health issues and the need for constant attention in the media are both at an all-time high. Would y'all agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your take on someone videoing and digging up a dead cat and making it into a stew and posting it online? That's a real question.
I think you hit it on the head. WTAF.
You know, I don't get it, but whatever she's, you know.
Is that legal?
I I don't know. Like, we might hear PETA coming,
There's a law about digging up a dead corpse.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Really? Well,
maybe if it's your cat, I don't
know. I read it and I was like, well, there she goes again. She's known for just doing the most ridiculous things and coming after people. And, I think there's some mental health issues going on there.
Is she the one that had the chicken closet a few years ago? Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So there you go.
It could be a religious thing.
It could be.
Or,
Yeah, that other thing. So I have another question for you guys. So is it that people want to, kind of just do anything in the media to grab attention? Do y'all think at this time in 2021, where we are right now, where do you see society going over the next decade?
Do you think we can predict that?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that is a tough one to answer because there's so much to consider.
So where will this take society over the next decade in regards to how we view ourselves and other people? Just having social media, just full access to it all the time, 24/7.
It's one of those things, right? Like they say, the more freedom you have, the more responsibility you have.
Yeah, and money.
I mean, literally, you can surf that web and go any direction you want.
It's a black hole.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I just feel like every month we're getting further and further into the black hole. And are we going to be lost in this abyss at some point?
I mean, I think that's very possible, unfortunately. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to down talk anybody or anything like that, but a lot of these younger kids are so socially awkward, like socially awkward.
Because they don't have to engage physically with people or leave the house to do anything.
So their brains are developed very different
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's
there's studies that say that. So
yeah, it's a little alarming for me, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because once we lose that human connection, I don't know what our future holds.
Right.
You know what? It just dawned on me now. I kind of am seeing why China censors their society the way they do, because I don't know if it's legal now, but at some point they weren't able to use Facebook.
Dom, think about what you just said and think about something that we talked about earlier in this program. That's why I say censorship is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Very
ding,
slippery.
Ding, ding, you hit
I'm
it.
going to tell you what's so crazy is I'm just always thinking of the next business to start.
Yeah.
I wanted to create a program that censored certain words or filtered them out so they couldn't be posted or they had to be approved. Instagram added that to their platform.
Wow.
So it will hide the comment if it detects that there's some type of, negative context in it, and you have to allow it.
So I think we're giving up the ghost by talking about this on air, but just to go there with you, I had the same idea, but a little tweak to it. I wanted to do like a spoiler proof. So like you could still surf the web, but without getting spoilers, like on your favorite show that you need to watch later, or like the sports, a match.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Patent pending, guys. Patent pending.
Here they go.
Jackson.
Listen, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the word of the day and our final message.
Wake up, NWA. It's time for your morning kiss. It's Dominic Blake on Kiss 105.3 and 1340.
I couldn't live without you.
Where hip-hop and R&B lives.